I don't even know where to start for this video. I'm sure you've read the title and know a teensy bit of what to expect, so hello and welcome. I've decided to do an end of year self reflection of what happened with me, like mostly gaming and haunt wise. And I may make this a yearly tradition, but that remains to be seen as to whether or not this video is actually a fully realized thing. But anyway, some personal details about me may be spread out here and there, so yeah. But again, I don't know where to begin, so that should tell you just how messy this video will be. Some tears will be shed, maybe, but I'll try my absolute best to keep every emotion I express in this video as real as possible. Oh, right, this is also my first video following a script, so yippee! Good job, me. You're getting used to your essay writing skills again, so good job organizing a video for once. And before I truly begin, I did want to go ahead and warn you all of a few things. Some things I talk about will be heavy, such as mental health, relationships, grief, and identity. And I'll have timestamps and chapters placed around this video, so don't worry about these topics just coming around unwarned. Second, I talk about a few games that mean a ton to me, including some heavy spoilers from said games in this video. If you plan on playing Destiny 2, The Final Shape, or Honkai Star Rail, there will be major story spoilers. I doubt a lot of you will, but just in case, don't say I didn't warn you. Third and finally, and I know this sucks, but it genuinely would mean the world to me if you liked this video and subscribed if you haven't already. A lot of YouTubers say that it helps out the channels, and it truly does. Just doing so pushes these videos out further into the algorithm, allowing more people to view my content. So again, no one's forcing you to do so, but it would mean a lot to me. Anyway, that's enough yapping. It's time for me to tell you all my 2024 experience.
Life isn't about holding on forever.
2024 began after a year of hurt. I won't go into much detail, but all you need to know is 2023 was very difficult for my family and I. We lost my father and seemed to get hit from all sides with different things at once. Again, I won't go into it because that was last year. And besides, we got through it all because we were there for each other. And so 2024 started, and we had all hope that it would be better. And for a time, it was. The first few months were honestly great. I went to Transworld with my older brother, and I got to meet so many people there. And I met new people for the first time, and I saw old friends. It was great. And I still have to finish the video for that. My bad. But anyway, we came back after a great time, and I was happy. And the next few months were good too. Nothing of note, so I won't bother to share. Fast forward to May, and that was when I graduated high school. 4 seemingly long and tedious years of education seemed just like a blink of an eye to me right when I picked up that diploma frame. And to be honest, I immediately had regrets. So, fair warning, this is the first real personal thing I'm going to share, and I'm sure my friends and family can vouch. Oh, by the way, hi guys. If you're watching or listening to this, I love you all. But anyway, I have a habit of not being the real me. For context, I've been working since I was 11, and ever since that first day, I put up the front of being an adult when I should have been myself at every moment I possibly could. I, I guess I just never had time to just get into harmless mischief or walk around the mall or some kind of store by myself. But no, I was always just working or thinking about school or just trying to satisfy every adult around me. And just at that moment, holding that diploma frame and smiling at the camera, I just kind of had that aha moment, that realization. And then I made up my mind. Y'all ever watch the SpongeBob movie from 2002? It had an overall message, and I came up with that same resolution that happened at the end. I want to be a kid for as long as I can. And that summer, right after I got my tattoo, I made that my biggest goal. I hung out with my friends as much as possible. I hung out with my family as much as possible. I did everything I would just do as a kid. And for those 2 months, I was truly happy.
Well, what if what I want is to stay here with you?
And what made me even happier was making a connection with someone and how genuine it felt to me. Because every day when I would hang out with them, I could always just feel in my heart and in every ounce of my being how powerful and how real our connection felt. That feeling of just comfort and safety and just pure love I always felt with them. And before any of y'all just start commenting about how I have a thing for them, I have a rebuttal, and it's very simple. I'm aromantic, meaning I don't deal with romance or romantic relationships. And as of recording this, I've never felt any romantic attraction, had any crushes. I've never longed for someone in that way. Just the overall concept of romance is just stressed and kind of gross me out. And the constant reassurance from them, knowing that we would stay friends, made me feel happier. It made me happy to know that I wouldn't lead them on, and it probably made them happy knowing the same for me, even though, I don't deal with that stuff. And this was in June, and I mentioned before that I got a tattoo, and here it is. I know that two of you might recognize it, and if you don't, it's from Destiny 2. And it's the symbol of Strand. It's a damage type and a subclass that all three classes have. Sure, Strand is my favorite subclass in Destiny, but I didn't get it just for that. I I got it to remind myself to let go when I need to be able to just be open for certain things to change and welcome them with open arms, because that's the philosophy of Strand. In the lore of Destiny, if you overexert yourself, it will exhaust you. And I have a habit of doing that with a lot. So that's the major reasoning behind it. But there's like five other reasons, and I would share, but some of them are rather personal to some degree, so maybe some other time. Also in June, I tested for my fourth dan in Taekwondo. I had been training really hard since March because I got permission, and that testing day had been prepared for over the course of 5 years. And I got special permission and everything. So my biggest fear was just to let everyone down. And I made up my mind to not let that happen. And what do you know? I didn't. I got my rank, but I happened to get a 30-minute lecture from a grandmaster. So, yeah. I I don't remember exactly what was said now, but I do remember some of the things he said hitting a little hard for me. And what made me feel worse is just seeing my instructor's solemn face the whole time as he just sat and just listened. Not great to look back on, but it's those little things that give you that drive, I guess. Maybe that's why he did that. But I digress. The next few months went by and almost nothing of note happened. July and August were a blur with nothing happening except for Halloween animatronics being released, along with my 19th birthday. Both of which were fine, other than my utter disappointment with Spirit Halloween. I still cannot believe how deplorable those props were. I'm talking quality issues, shipping issues for some people, general look issues to me, you name it. It just wasn't a good year for them. And my birthday was alright until I had one of the scariest nights of my life at that point. This will be another really personal thing, but in a way it's a bit funny, so might as well. So my birthday until that point was really nice. I spent it with my best friend, the same one I mentioned earlier, and we had a really great time at the mall, just doing overall silly stuff at my house after that, and it was nice. Um, then that same evening, I joined a VC with my good friend Flurry. Link down below goes up to him. I'll have him tell you what happened. All right. So, anyways, all right. Well, you were there. You
I
were
think I was.
you were there on the night of the cookie incident. So, I guess I'll start a little bit. I remember at like 9:50 I joined this exact VC. I don't know what game you were playing, but you were playing a game. And I was like, man, I got a Lego set. I got these cookies. What do you remember?
So basically,
Go on.
okay. So basically, my boy was like, "Hey, yo, I got these cookies." I think he specified from where. I don't remember where.
From
I
Whole
think he said off
Foods.
the street. Oh, yeah. And I told him, "My guy, I am from the future. If you
You
eat
did
these
not do
cookies,
that. You
you
did
are
not.
going to get
No,
sick."
no, no. You did not do that.
So he eats the cookies, and then he's like, "Hey, yo, I don't feel good. I'm gonna go to the bathroom." I'm like, "Okay." He leaves for like 30 minutes, comes back. Like 10 minutes later, he's like, "Hey, yo, I'm gonna go to the bathroom." Leaves for 30 minutes, comes back, and then I think at that point, I disappeared. And then I woke up the next morning. I went and recorded my own video, whatever. I look at my phone and go into Discord. Turns out, 3 in the morning, he went to the emergency room.
Yeah.
And my phone never told me he went, so I was just like, "Oh, what?" Out
Yeah.
of nowhere.
So I remember you were in the VC till like 12, right? And then
Maybe.
you went to bed, and I had gone downstairs to my mom, and she gave me some Pepto Bismol and a one Benadryl, and I took it, and then I looked in the mirror, and I had like these bumps growing on my face and my arms, and my throat was starting to close up. So we were like, yeah, we should probably go, and then she took at like 150, or maybe it was like 230 or something. Keep in mind, I was already like very loopy from the Benadryl being in my hand, because they put the IV in my hand. So I was like, "Oh, take my picture," and I made the infamous pose. Here, hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Why is it 29 megabytes? The infamous picture.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I made that face. That wasn't me like normally. That was a bit, but yeah, that was a whole situation, and I appreciate your feedback, Mister. I'm from the future. You did not say that, by the way. You let me take those 4 bites of that cookie, and you
I
watched.
tried to warn you.
You did
and
not
you're like,
warn me. You
"Nah,
did not
bro."
warn me.
You went and I quote, and you say I have, and then took 4 bites. Anyways, guys, he hasn't paid me for the thumbnails I made.
Hey, no.
Yell at him.
I'm leaving that in. By the way, I think I'm gonna need your help on a thumbnail for this video.
See, he's not gonna pay me for this one either.
I'm gonna pay you an exposure. I'm gonna link you down below. Go sub to him. He makes free thumbnails. Very serious interview. Yes, I know. Anyways, thankfully I pushed through, as you guys can probably tell. Unless, of course, I am actually contacting you all from beyond the grave. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Anyways, yeah, no, that wasn't fun. 4 bites of a cookie that wasn't even that good. Not worth it. I hated every second of that. Moving on. The rest of August was okay, I guess. On the same day that incident happened, I started community college. And yeah, it was fine for that first couple weeks. And then it wasn't. It immediately started to drain me. I saw that assignments were nigh impossible for me because I was on a Mac and I could have done it on my desktop, but it just seemed too much at the start. And I know college is a huge jump from high school, but still, it just constantly just sucked the life out of me at that point.
I used to think I'd give anything to bring you back.
On top of school, home life was a bit stressful for me at the time, and most of it wasn't what you would expect. But what it was just my own anxiety. See, if I had to tell anyone about my two biggest fears and what they were, I would tell them that they were thunderstorms and the fear of a home invasion. And I know they don't go hand in hand, but you'll see where I'm coming from in a second. In August, we had a terrible, horrible storm outbreak. And one night, just it was after a long lightning storm, and it had some of the loudest thunder of the year. And our security system failed somehow, and it didn't fail how you would expect. It didn't just shut off. No, it just began to screech at what I could only assume to be over 100 decibels, and it was really, really early in the morning, and I jolted awake, and I couldn't think straight. Clearly, because I was still sleep deprived, because I stayed up late the night prior because of the storms, and I was still waking up, and I couldn't move, and my mind was racing, and it just kept focusing on the thought that someone was inside or someone was trying to get inside, but thankfully, no one was. But our security system was no longer capable of working at that point. And that only terrified me more. I felt naked in a way. Not in a literal sense, of course, but what I mean is I just felt unprotected. And before someone from my family comes up and brings up the whole gated community in a hard to reach and pointless place, think again. Because no, if someone truly, wholeheartedly wanted to break into some place, they would find a way. Think like a bank or like a museum. They have heists and they have had hundreds of heists before. If someone wants to get in, they'll find a way. And that's how I ended August, just with constant fear. That's how I began September, just scared, horrified, and overwhelmed, and it just weighed me down. And kind of came to a head when I got into a really bad argument with someone who I knew for over 7 years, and I decided to say goodbye to them. And what they said to me, I can't really say on YouTube, and probably hearing myself repeat them hundreds of times as I edit this wouldn't make me feel the best either. But all you need to know is that it really hurt me, and it just all came to a head one night. It just all just spewed out. Before I tell you this, I just want to first of all say that mentally, I'm a million times better now. But also, this is where the warning from earlier comes in. This is heavy for a lot, and I totally understand why. So, you've been warned. Early September came by, and on a Wednesday night, I was with my best friend. We were out, and they knew I was feeling just not okay, to say the least. And after 20 minutes in their car, just back and forth of me saying, I promise I'm okay, and them saying, Ian, please, I'm here, I just broke down. And finally, just everything from the past month and a half and everything from last year just came out. Just every thought in my head was pouring out at once. And that was the hardest I ever sobbed. Just in my entire life. I just sobbed in my best friend's car, and meanwhile, they were there just holding me in their arms and telling me it was going to be okay. And because they're the closest person I have, I believed them. And it helped me. And they stayed the night, which was probably the best choice they could have made. And by the way, you know who you are. If you're watching, I hope you know just how thankful I am for that night. You genuinely have no idea how much it means to me, and I still think about it almost every day. And I love you so much. You're genuinely the best person I know.
There are people who still need me.
So the night passed, and I was feeling okay, and up until the next morning, I'll just read out the message I sent to someone real quick. This is what I sent someone the day after it all went down in my best friend's car. Hey dude, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be taking a break from hanging out with you and blank, and really everyone I know online. Before I explain everything, I just want to say that I'm okay and I'm getting help as early as tomorrow morning. A couple nights ago, I had arguably the hardest night of my entire life. I had very dark and overwhelming thoughts, and I just lost it in my friend's car. Hardest I've ever cried because I just let out so much hurt I've held in for so many years. I came home with them, and they were there to help me through everything, and I made progress. Until 6:40ish yesterday morning when I had the bad thoughts come back, and at that point I was telling people that I was on my last ropes and considering giving up because it got so bad. And next thing I know, the police are at the door for a welfare check. That's how everyone else in my family found out, and now that's why I'm telling you. They got me set up with people to talk to tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna get medicated for this stuff. Again, I'm okay. I'm not planning on doing anything, and I'm sorry if I'm worrying you. This isn't your fault or Blank's. I just think taking a break from online activities would be best for me for now. But if you want to stay in touch and check on me, that's cool with me. You have my number and everything, so you can contact me there. I'm not sure how long I'll be gone for, but I'll let you know once I'm back. And I'm sorry for springing this on to you so suddenly. I just thought that letting you know I won't be online for a good while would be a good idea. I talked with Blank about everything, and I mean everything that was on my mind and hurting me. I unenrolled in college, and I shared concerns with my family about the security system at home and how I'd like to have a working one, since I haven't slept well since it stopped working. And of course the situation with Blank. I feel like a weight has been lifted off of me since I said everything, and I'm still opening up about things. Once again, you didn't do a thing, just a lot of stuff in my life got overwhelming, and I just finally snapped and lost it. Thanks for reading this, dude, and I'm sorry. I'll see you soon, and I promise I'll be a better friend. Then, I went dark for a few weeks, and when I came back, I was already in therapy and I was making strides to get better. Still am, by the way, but I will never forget those hours of my life. Never. That was probably, as far as right now, the most emotion I've ever expressed in my entire life. And again, that's likely because of that habit I made when I started to work for the first time.
Soon. Sophie. I'm sorry.
Fast forward to October, and the haunt happened, which was great, and nothing really of note happened. I still need to finish the video of that too. Yikes. Moving on. November. Right after Halloween, my best friend started to act different. We went no contact after a while, and when I saw them in person, they would avoid me like the plague. It was like that for literal weeks, and every attempt to talk it through with them was just denied. Until very recently, where we had a 2 hour long conversation. We both apologized for any potential faults committed and we're making strides to get close again. And I'm glad for that. I won't share many details of what occurred in the times before us talking, but I will say that it was mentally exhausting and stressful. I just tore myself apart, fearing that everything was my fault, and to me I had every reason to believe that. But here we are in the present, and it's the end of the year, and overall I'm doing all right. There's still some major things happening behind the scenes, some good, some bad, and some in between, but other than that, I'd say I'm okay. However, recently, as I had the thoughts for this video, I thought about myself a lot, of who I am. Like, I know I'm a man, and I feel like a guy and all, but I'm not at all like any other guy I know. And I'm not at all saying that just to be cliche or anything stupid like that. I mean it wholeheartedly. I can't name a single interest other than gaming that I like that any average guy likes as well. I don't work out at the gym. I don't collect anything. I don't act masculine. And I don't know anything about cars. I don't know anything like that. I don't like anything like that. And that's when I asked myself, who or what am I? And I asked myself that again and again and 100 times. And to this day, I still don't have a concrete answer. And again, I am a guy, and I know that, and I accept that. But do people see me as one? Do people accept me as one? It's hard to describe that feeling, and I hope that makes some sort of sense. And I'm sorry if it doesn't, but anyway, that's everything personal from my life out of the way. Let's just move on to something else.
Life isn't about holding on forever. I mean, I was gone, mourned, at peace, and now I'm here, opening old wounds, filling them with salt.
On June 4th, my childhood favorite game series, Destiny, released its final expansion in its first saga, The Final Shape. Ever since I started playing Destiny during its beta in 2014, I knew that someday the story I loved so much would end. But I didn't know when or how. When I was young, along with the game itself, I would come home from school, boot up the game, and just run around the Cosmodrome or the moon, pretending to be some awesome badass guardian as I'd do patrol missions or race around on my Sparrow. And 10 years later, I was about to end the decade-long story I had fallen in love with day one. The expansion hit hard. Much harder than anything I could have ever imagined. The main theme was grief and loss and reconciliation, and in a way, when I saw Cade Six talk as he and the others sat by the campfire, I thought that someone left that message for someone like me. Someone who lost someone and didn't know what to do. And as I heard him say the words,
Eventually, you have to let go.
I just saw the others stand up and walk away, and I couldn't help but just cry. And at 3 other points in that, in my opinion, masterpiece of a campaign, I cried. Because not only was this probably the final time that I would play Destiny, it was going to be both my cherished memory and my hardest time ever letting go of something. See, Destiny was my safe space, in a way. I knew that I could just forget about my troubles and just pretend to be something else for a while. And when that final mission came out on that Saturday morning, I immediately hopped on. And To me, I never felt so much emotion playing a game in my life. And I'm sure all of you are probably scoffing at that, but just let me explain with an analogy. You ever go to someone's house knowing it's probably the last time you'll ever see them? Maybe a friend or a family member or a pet. That hesitance to leave, that gut-wrenching feeling, and that regret that you didn't make the most of it, or that you feel it could have gone different. That's what I felt. That final mission, that final sliver of health that ticked off the witness as my ghost screamed in pain, it hurt me. I knew it was over, and my childhood was officially over to me at that point. I know I said that in my time in my best friend's car was the hardest time I ever cried. That's true, but this was the longest I've cried. The rest of the day was filled with tears forming and falling as my throat choked up as I tried to say goodbye, but in the end, I never could hit the uninstall button. And as I wrote this script, and even now, talking into this mic, I still just don't know if I can ever uninstall that game. Not after knowing that it got me through last year, and that it was my safe little bubble to go to when I felt sad or unhappy.
Why does someone like her have to be buried, burned to ash, and eventually forgotten? Why?
The second, and probably final game I want to talk about is a gacha game. I know. Just hear me out, okay? Honkai Star Rail is a gacha game developed by Hoyoverse, also known as MiHoYo, the same people behind Genshin Impact. And this game, let me tell you, this game's story can either be the most heartstring-tugging thing ever, or the most unserious. Bananas. Anyway, so at the start of this year, the game's third world, Penacony, came out. And already within the first content drop, the story at times just had me in a chokehold. I fell in love, not literally, with most, if not all of the characters, but especially one. One seemingly innocent girl's story. This girl is none other than Firefly. I'll let her do most of the talking.
And it's likewise for me. I have a wish I want to achieve so badly in the real world. But I can't. So, I want to give it a shot here. The endless isolation can wear down my illusion. Someday I'll make entropy loss syndrome. Have you heard of this term? It's a strange condition. Those suffering from it will experience an irreversible chronic dissociation of their physical structure. This means they will slowly fade away, and the process is barely noticeable to others. You can still run, jump, and talk as usual. Everything seems normal. What is meant by me? But then you'll start doing everything slightly slower than others. And then even slower than that. Until the lines between your body and the entire world become blurry. You won't be able to tell reality from dreams because they have all been shattered. So how can I possibly resist it? I mean, can you imagine? I can actually free myself from this icy medical cabin in this dream. I can forget about all the doctor's advice. I can listen and see and touch and think and understand whatever I want with my body. So although this world isn't real, priceless. Birds are.
I think a lot of people would agree with me when I say that I just wanted to give her the biggest hug ever after she said all that. Like, it's a lot, and it's relatable for some. And speaking of which, Firefly's voice actor, Annalisa Fisher, they had a lot of emotion put into that because they have a chronic condition just like Firefly. Of course, not the, dissociating from reality forever kind of thing, but still, it's nice to have some inclusion, and I'm really proud of them for putting that much emotion into their performance because it was perfect to me. It was amazing. Moving on. I'm going to fast forward to the very end of the story, and I'm going to not spoil anything, but there's a character that you meet first thing in the story named Acheron, and at the very end, you get to say goodbye to her one last time. And to me, what she says has stuck with me to this day. Ever since I first played that version of that story, it's just always stuck with me. I'll show you what she said.
Long ago, I too was like you, with irreplaceable companions. We also embarked on journeys, making the best choices we could, whenever we could. Unfortunately, we didn't achieve the outcome we wanted. But moments like this make me feel like they never even left. In this universe, there exist countless worlds that are similar yet different, and countless people who are alike yet distinct. I too have wandered alone, encountering acquaintances on strange worlds, seeing their silhouettes overlap with my past. In your opinion, what does this déjà vu mean? Attachment, desire, longing. They may all be right, but they are all incomplete. I believe it's not something external, but something that originates within us. An emotion that traverses time from a certain moment of our past to reach us. Perhaps it's a source of warmth and happiness. Or maybe it brings pain and sorrow. Each time we reminisce on our past, we always seem to notice a tiny but unforgettable instant that we left behind us, along with certain other things that remain constant throughout. That is a summary of our lives, encapsulating everything about us in these moments. Proof of our shared path. Within them, we glimpse our own essence, and thus, we truly exist. Just like everyone in this story, hurtling onwards along the path of destiny with passion and courage for the things that breathe meaning into their lives. Set forth on your voyage without hesitation, Nameless, on the path of the Trailblaze. Even if the ending has been predetermined, that's fine. There are countless things that humans cannot change. But before that, on the road towards the end, there are still many things that we can do. And because of this, the end will thus reveal a completely different meaning. This is the meaning of journey. All those things, beautiful before, are still so now. And I believe it will still bloom at the end of the nihility. Until we meet again beneath the sun's rays.
As I said before, that was Acheron, and you meet her very early on in Penacony's story, and over time you just see her slowly open up, telling the truth about how she's an emanator of nihility and not actually a Galaxy Ranger. And seeing someone open up like that, it makes it feel more like a genuine connection, and that just makes the story better, in my opinion. And saying goodbye to her one final time, and getting that scene just felt warm, and I couldn't stop smiling, and it just made me feel complete with that story, and it pains me to know that that's an optional scene. So, Hoyoverse, please make it a requirement. Please, I'm begging you. Anyways, I digress. Those are 2 games that made my year.
So much change. We've been fighting for so long. And now we've won.
I thought it would feel different.
Thank you for watching, and if you're just listening, thank you as well. I hope my semi-decent Star Rail gameplay held you over, along with my 5 out of 10 voice. Hey, gotta be modest, but anyway, I just wanted to end the year off with something on the channel that I could both look back on and get some sort of release from. And just writing the script out, reading it, then recording it, it did a lot. So, yeah. Thank you all again. I know I said this before, but I love y'all. Friends, family, viewers, everyone in a way. You all play a key role in my life, and I don't know what I would do without you all. So, until next time, friends. See you again soon, farm goers.